Hi, good day. My name is Karen Duncan, and today I want to demonstrate the way that index match is used in Microsoft Excel. Not only is index match a great alternative to the VLOOKUP function, but index match can often find data in ways that VLOOKUP can't and ways that are more efficient. Index match is a combination of two functions, namely the index function and the match function. So I have an example which I'm going to use here to demonstrate the way that index match works. And you can definitely download the practice file in the description below, because following along is definitely going to help you grasp the way that index match works. What I have here is a table that comprises of students, their scores in a variety of subjects, and the ID numbers for these students. If you look in my tables here to the right, I have 3 examples. And what we're going to see here is, firstly, in this example, we'll learn how the index function is used, and we'll also learn the way that the match function is used. In this example here, we're going to learn how both the index and match functions can be combined and work together in order to find the scores for a variety of students here in a variety of subjects. Lastly, we'll use the index function to do something that the VLOOKUP function can't. We're actually going to do a left lookup using the student IDs. What you'll also notice here is that I have a drop-down list here, which contains all of the student IDs and all of the subjects. And what you'll notice here is that as I change the student IDs and I change the subjects, we'll see that index match will keep finding the respective score for the respective student in the respective subject. So that's going to really demonstrate just how dynamic index match works. So firstly, let's look at the index function. What does the index function do? Well, one of the key things that the index function does is it can return the value or contents of a cell for us. In order for it to do this, we need to give it 3 things. We need to give it an area to search, and that search area needs to contain the value that we're looking for. We also need to give it a row number and a column number which intersects the cell that contains the value that we want returned. So let's use the index function to find the English score for one of our students, Tonya Forbes. So we're clicking in here and we're going to type equal. And as we start typing, we see that index comes up there. We can click tab to accept that. And the first argument the function asks us for is the array. Now, the array is going to be the search area which we mentioned earlier. This is the area that contains the answer that we're looking for. I'm going to select all of the scores as my search area because my answer is inside of there. The next thing the function asks me for is the row number. Now, the way that we count the rows is relative to the search area. What that means is this row here, which starts at the beginning of the search area, this is going to be row 1. So we're counting like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Tonya Forbes is in the 7th row. We click 7. Next, it asks us for the column number. Likewise, we're going to count the column numbers relative to the search area. What that means is column B is going to be my first column number. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So English is in the 6th column relative to the search area. I click 6, and if I close my bracket and click enter, there I get the score of 38. So we see that that is correct. So basically what the index function did is it went into this row, went down this column, and it extracted that value for us. So that's the way the index function works. That's one of the key things that it does. Next, let's take a look at the match function. What does the match function do? Well, the match function finds us the position number of an item relative to a range of cells. Let me demonstrate what that means. If I asked you, what is the position of Tonya Forbes inside of this range of cells, which contains all of our students, you could count and you'd find that it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'd see that she's in the 7th position inside of that range of cells. We could also say that Tonya Forbes is in the 7th row relative to that range of cells. Let's use the match function to find Tonya Forbes' position inside of this range of cells. We know that it's 7, but using the match function is going to help us to learn how to use both index and match combined later. So we're going to type equal, and I start typing, and we see that match comes up, and we can click tab to accept that. First argument the function asks for is the lookup value. Now the lookup value is the item for which we want the position number returned. So that's going to be Tonya Forbes. We're looking for her position number. The lookup array is the range of cells in which we are looking inside of to find that item's position number. So that's going to be this range of cells containing all of our students. Finally, the function asks me for the match type, and we're going to select 0 for an exact match because we're searching specifically for the position of Tonya Forbes. I click enter, and there we get 7, and we confirmed that earlier. Next, let's use another match function to find the position of the subject English inside of the range of cells containing all of the subjects. So I'm coming here and I'm typing equal match. My lookup value is going to be English because that's the item that I want the position number returned for. My range of cells, or my lookup array, is going to be all of the subjects, and my match type is going to be exact. So I click 0, I close the brackets, and I click enter. And if I count, I'd see that the subject English is in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's indeed in the 6th column relative to the range of cells containing all of our subjects. So that's the way the match function works. That's what it does. So here comes the interesting part. Let's learn how to use both the index and match functions combined in order to find the scores for these respective students in these respective subjects. Now, in order to do that, let's take a closer look at the index function, and I'll put it up on the screen. As we mentioned earlier, the first argument, the array, this is the search area which contains the value or the values that we're searching for. And then as we saw earlier, when using index, we have to give the function a row number and a column number which intersects the cell that contains the values that we are searching for. But wouldn't you agree that it's a bit time consuming to count for the row and the column numbers? And if we were looking for a lot of values as we are here, it would be very time consuming to do that. So is there a more efficient way? Well, what we can do is, instead of counting for a row number and a column number, we could use one match function, place it inside of the index function, and find the row number using that match function. And we could use another match function, placing it inside of the index function, and find the column number. So let's apply this. So firstly, let's expand this column right here, because the function is going to be a bit lengthy because we're combining both the index and match functions together. But don't get too intimidated by this. With practice, you could definitely learn how index match works. So I'm going to click equal, and I'm typing index, And for my array, I'm going to select all of the subjects. Next, for my row number, what am I going to do here? Well, I'm going to use a match function to find the row number. So firstly, I'm looking for the row number of the student. So my lookup value is going to be the student, Skylar Lloyd, comma. My lookup array is the range of cells. And lastly, my match type is going to be exact. Click 0, I close the brackets. Next, the function asks for a column number. And here we are going to use another match function to find the column number. And we're looking for the subject history. So we're going to select history as our lookup value, because remember, we're looking for the position of history, or the column for the subject history inside of this range of cells. My lookup array is going to be the range of cells with the subject, and my match type is going to be exact 0. I close my brackets. Now I need to place 2 brackets here because I have 2 functions. What I'm going to do is lock these references so that they don't move as we pull the function downwards for the other values. And I'm going to select F4 while highlighting those references to do that. I'm going to lock that. We're going to lock this, and we're going to lock this. And if I click enter, there I get the score 37. So that's Skylar Lloyd's history score. So if we look inside of here, we see that it's indeed 37. Great. If we drag this downwards, here we get the scores for all of the students. This is really impressive. And let's check back one student just to make sure this is accurate. Let's take, for example, this student here, Alana O'Neill, 79. Let's see, Alana O'Neill, and that's her agri-science score. And we see it's indeed 79. Really impressive. And what's really interesting here is, notice that we were looking for subjects, scores in different subjects in different columns. And unlike the VLOOKUP function, we didn't have to count for a column number. So I would say that that's one way in which index match is superior to VLOOKUP. Next, and finally, let's use index match to do something that VLOOKUP on its own can't do. To do a left lookup using the student IDs. So we're clicking inside of here, and we're typing equal index, and my search area is going to, of course, be all of the scores. I'm using one match function to find a row. So I'm looking for the row for student IDs. So my lookup value is the student ID. My lookup array is the range of cells containing all of those IDs. And my match type is exact. Next, I'm going to use another match function to find the subject. So my lookup value is the subject. The lookup array is the range of cells with all of the subjects. And my match type is going to be exact. I close the brackets. I need to place 2 brackets here. In this case, we don't need to lock these references because we're not going to be moving this function downwards. And if we click enter, so here we see that the student with student ID number 25 scored 38 in the subject mathematics. So we've seen here that index match can do a left lookup. And if we change the student ID, we see that the score changes. If we change the subject, we see that the score changes as well. This really demonstrates just how dynamic index match works. So I hope you found this video beneficial. If you did, then I'd appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up, and don't forget to click subscribe. Also, if there's any topic that you'd like to see me cover in a next video, feel free to leave that in the comments below. and feel free to even comment on this video. So thanks again for dropping by, and bye.